Welcome on in, race fans, to race number 10 of the Trinity Racing League. From last week's race at Martinsville Speedway to the twisting technical challenges of Sonoma Raceway, tonight everything changes. Chris, we come to our second road course of the season, and tonight feels like a little bit of a reset button from what drivers experienced last week at the short track at the Paperclip just 1 week ago, where Ali Fonseca came out on top. Tonight, we're here for 50 laps at the Vineyard 100.
50 laps over here at Sonoma. It's going to be really, really interesting. You know, it's a really, really technical track. They're not going to be running the Indy course. They're going to be running the standard course that they normally run in NASCAR. And I don't know. To me, it's very technical of a track. It's kind of difficult for me. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers drive it tonight.
It absolutely will be, and it's not always about, when we come to a road course, it's not always about who's going to be the fastest. It's always, more times than not, it's about who's able to keep it in between the dirt and the grass on the corners here. But as we finish out our couple of final minutes here in opening practice, driver that is fastest is a name that's kind of familiar to being up at the top of the charts. That's going to be Thomas Green, followed by Ryan Bird. Cody Reed in third as drivers start to think about the playoffs here, as we only have 4 races remaining before we get to the playoffs in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, really good opportunity for some drivers to maybe push and capitalize at this racetrack if they're pretty comfortable with it. You know, not everybody's going to be comfortable with it here, so maybe other drivers that are confident, they're gonna push and try to make some spot here.
Thomas Green fastest as they run right now. Something new you'll see on the ticker out here tonight. You'll see some colors like Ali Fonseca, Cedric Hunter, Chris Stitz, Noah Steele, as you see them right now. Trinity Racing League doing an in-season tournament where the winner of it's going to get $25. So red is up against red, blue is up against blue, yellow is up against yellow, and green against green. So Ali Fonseca, Noah Steele, the winner, the higher finisher of those 2 drivers tonight, will advance to next week's race, where they move on to the second round. That's going to be at Charlotte Motor Speedway, America's home for racing. Cedric Hunter is up against, let me see if I can't take a look. Cedric Hunter is going to be up against Josh Sawyer, who I don't believe has made his way in here just yet. But then you have Chris Stitz and you know what? I need to fix that. It's actually not going to be Chris Stitz. I'll adjust that here in just a moment. It's going to be Clint Cox and Scott Richter. Those are the 2 drivers that are working against each other. But always kind of a fun little thing when drivers can do a little in-season tournament here and have a little bit of bragging rights and a little bit of cash on the line there at the end of it, Chris.
Yeah, you know, it just makes the season a little more interesting, a little more fun. Thomas Green goes for a big slide right there. Oh, he seems to just be linking the track right now.
Yeah, final 45 seconds of practice here. We're going to switch on over. Driver just outside the top 5 in opening practice. That's going to be the 13 of Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly got his first win in the Trinity Racing League 2 weeks ago at Homestead Miami Speedway. We'll see what he's able to do tonight. And I think when you come to a road course here, it's hard to skip previous road course winners. And the one other road course that we've raced this season so far, Chris, at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, we saw Brandon Gass take the checkered flag. Can he go 2 for 2 on road courses? That's the question he has to answer, and 50 laps to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's in 5th. He seems to have a decent time here. He's only about a little more than half a second off of Thomas Green. So maybe, you know, like you said, it's not always about the drivers who are the fast. It's going to be about who keeps it on the track. So maybe we'll see Brandon keep it on the track maybe a little longer and maybe come back with that road course W.
Barney the Flagman, he's going to throw the checkered flag out over practice. Thomas Green, Ryan Bird, Cody Reed, that's going to be the top 3, as drivers going to have a little bit of an extended qualifying session here. 10 minutes to do 2 laps, and we'll wait and see who's the first one to line up down on pit road and begin their qualifying attempts out here. We've got Christopher Norris on pit road. We got Dakota Moniz on pit road, Stephen Clapp, and more, waiting for some of these drivers to start the cars up and get them going in the right direction. Looks like we're going to have Dakota Moniz rolling off of pit road in the 5. Up through the elevation changes for the first time in qualifying for Dakota Moniz. We'll ride on board for about half a lap here as we keep an eye on other times to come across the start-finish line for the Vineyard 100 out here tonight. Chris, we're going to go uphill, we're going to go downhill, but these drivers also going to be working a bunch of gear changes here in just a single lap.
Yeah, lots of gear changes, lots of elevation changes as well. And that's gonna really upset the car in certain parts of the track. I mean, it seems like they're kind of stable on that downhill, at the initial downhill. It's really gonna be in the S's that's the main upsetter of the car here.
Yeah, the S is super difficult to get through as Dakota Moniz. He's going to be able to make it to about turn number 7 here. Is going to finish out the S's and head down into turn number 10 before he sees the tight hairpin of turn 11.
One thing I saw in practice was that the number 3 was taking the hairpin wide, and I'm wondering if that's going to be either a faster line through the hairpin or if it was just a setup lap. But it could possibly be faster just because you get that speed off the corner to where the cars just, the cars want to go straight, so they're going to have that speed coming off the corner.
Well, you kind of saw a little bit of the same thing there from Dakota as he went down into turn number 11, the hairpin, the tightest corner on this 11-turn course. You get out there a little bit wide. You're able to hit the gas a little bit harder, get a straighter drive off the corner. So that may be something that we see other drivers that are currently on the clock. Christopher Norris currently on the clock. Cody Reed, Nolan Hicks, Dakota Moniz as we follow Dakota. Scott Richter, Clint Cox, Ali Fonseca, last week's winner. All drivers that have taken the green flag for their first qualifying lap. On board through the technical section of the S's, left, and right back once more. All downhill, and it's not that difficult to do when you're a single car out here, but these drivers going to have 23 drivers, I believe 23 drivers loaded into the server out here this evening, and that's where it's going to get a little hairy scary, as you're going to have drivers on your left, on your right, and sometimes both.
Absolutely, yeah. 3 wide racing there is honestly something you don't want to see, especially with how difficult and technical that section is. So you're probably going to see a lot of drivers back off if they have a really big run onto 2 people there, or even if they're just racing 1 person, just to be able to get through that part of the track cleanly.
First time by across the start-finish line, Dakota Moniz sits second to Christopher Norris, who just completed his first lap. Let's take a ride on board here. Let's jump on over to Cody Reed as Chris Stitz and more time start to come on the timing tower. Cody Reed not yet put down a time about halfway through his first lap as last week's winner, Ali Fonseca, jumps up to 4th with Ryan Kelly in the provisional pole position.
Seems to have a good run coming up here into the hairpin. Let's see if he runs it wide. He does not. He does run it right on the inside. So the inside is going to be the quicker line here, it seems like.
Cody Reed takes a wide entrance down into, I guess that would be turn 12 down there. They don't count that as a turn, but tries to straighten out his entrance to the start-finish line as much as he possibly can. He's going to go up the elevation change, almost touch the rumble strips on the right side into turn number 1. Head down into 2A, 2B, and 2C, I think they're called, as he's going to get a little bit of air coming over. At the top of the board right now, it's still Ryan Kelly. Still looking for drivers to complete their second laps. Everybody has only put 1 lap on the board, as now Vincent Sora is going to jump up to the top with his... actually, that's going to be Vincent's second lap right there for Vincent Sora. So some drivers starting to finish out their qualifying laps here.
These laps went by a little quicker than I thought, to be honest. I thought it would be, I don't know, the cars are just going by a little faster. I was really prepared for it to be a little bit of a longer lap, to be honest.
Ryan Bird finishes lap number 2. He's going to move up to 2nd on the board. Ryan Kelly holds 3rd after his second lap is done. Christopher Norris does not improve on his second lap. He's going to be a 1:17.2 for the 38 of Christopher Norris. We've seen Christopher Norris take the checkered flag here at Sonoma Raceway on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network before. Second lap for Cody Reed about to come onto time. Let's see if Cody Reed's able to improve on his first lap. Looks like lap number 2 going to be a little bit slower. That's going to bring us over to the 7 of Cedric Hunter.
In that bright pink Hello Kitty machine, I have to say it every week. You already know. He's going to send it right down here into... which corner this is? I believe this is 6. And he... Oh, Go for it.
Yeah, he takes a big slide down there. That's going to be one of the passing zones that these drivers have down here, and we may see moments like that over the next 50 laps as drivers come down there. You're braking, you're hitting the gears, and sometimes you get a little bit of wheel hops. Sometimes if you have a car up on your outside, you may be able to make it through. But through turn 10 for Cedric Hunter, another slide. That's going to set him up down here into turn number 11, the hairpin, as most of the field is just about done with their qualifying laps. Mike Miller, Sam Garcia, a couple of drivers still out on track, as well as Jesse Thornock. Second time by for Cedric Hunter, gonna hold at 10th place. That's gonna bring us over to Mike Miller. First time by was 18th on the board for Mr. Miller. See if he can't improve. Mike ran a bunch of practice laps as usual here, as it has been the usual case for the 99 in the Trinity Racing League practice. We'll see if Mike is able to get a pretty good run here this evening. Again, only 4 races before we come into the playoffs. Top 16 drivers gonna move into the playoffs by the time we get around to our final regular season race, and of course that's going to be at Talladega Superspeedway. But Mike Miller comes in here tonight with some ground to gain, 23rd in the points. Second time by for Miller. Going to be a little bit of improvement. Going to jump up to 16th place as looks like everybody has completed their laps. One driver electing not to take time. That's going to be Brandon Gass.
It's interesting Brandon Gass does not end up taking time here. Especially after you mentioned that he did win that race at Red Bull Ring. It's interesting that he hasn't taken the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, no cautions out here tonight, Chris. So unlike what we saw last week at Martinsville, where drivers have the opportunity to run a couple of laps, try to gain a couple of track positions, no caution flags out here this evening. So if you're a driver like Stephen Clapp, Ben Kinney, Brandon Gass, starting 20th on back, by the time the green flag flies, you're already going to be 10 or 12 seconds back just with the way that the pacing works here.
Yeah, absolutely. But honestly, they might be just banking on a lot of early wrecks, to be honest, because that does happen at road courses sometimes.
Certainly could be. We've got a couple of minutes here before we get kicked over to our 5-minute warm-up out here. We'll give it another 90 seconds or so here, but do believe how you see it on the tower is how they're going to line up here. Looks like maybe Larry Yingling, the last driver, maybe practicing a pit road entry in that Ford Mustang. See what Larry is doing. He's already completed both of his laps, just some extra practice laps here for Larry. And Chris, a lot of times in qualifying, drivers will elect to take extra laps just to kind of figure out what they can do in terms of getting on and off pit road the fastest that they possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely am one of those drivers who do that. And at the end of qualifying, or even at the end of practice, sometimes I forget qualifying, but at the end of practice, I definitely end up doing a lot of pit entry just to make sure I have the braking point down, make sure I don't slide the car into braking, as well as just getting into the box, to be honest. You see the 67 goes for a big jump there out of the hard right-hander, 90. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's
pretty big hit there for Larry as drivers have about 30 seconds remaining out here in opening practice. That's going to give Thomas Green the provisional pole out here. Is we don't expect any changes here to the timing tower. But Chris, it's anytime we come to a road course, we kind of talked about it. It's kind of like a little bit of a mental reset, right? We come out of last week's race at Martinsville Speedway. We've had Darlington the past couple of weeks, Homestead, Texas Motor Speedway. So this is a very different track that we're probably going to see new names at the front of the field than what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, any road course is going to drive very different than an oval. So it's just interesting to see the different driving styles, a lot of different drivers, see who's going to be up at the front here.
Checkered flag out over qualifying. That's going to put an end to our 10-minute qualifying session out here. Drivers have 5 minutes here, and that's going to give us an opportunity to maybe grab a word with one of the Trinity Racing drivers out here this evening. We'll scroll through their Discord here, and we'll see who maybe we haven't chatted with much this season so far as drivers begin their 5-minute warm-up. I tell you what, I'm not sure if it's currently muted. I tell you what, let's try to grab Mr. Larry. Larry Yingling, Tom, and Chris in the booth. Good evening. How are you tonight, sir? Give Larry a second there. He's currently muted. May have stepped away.
He might be recovering after that big hit, to be honest. That he's probably in the infield care center.
Possibly. Well, we'll give Larry a second here. Larry, if you're within earshot, go ahead and unmute, and we'll grab you for a minute here as we finish up our warm-up here in the final couple of minutes for the Vineyard 100 on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Once again, another race from the Trinity Racing League. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us, as always. We get set to go racing here. Thomas Walter on track right now. He's got Mike Miller not far behind. Mark Labertone in that 42 Toyota Supra. Ollie Fonseca. Let's take a look at last week's winner. Ollie kind of came out of nowhere at the end of the race there. I mean, he was fast all race long, right? But he was running, you know, 4th, 5th, 6th. Couldn't just seem to get the track position last week in Martinsville and found himself in the right spot at the right time and looking to go back-to-back wins for this 24.
Yeah, I mean, that race at Martinsville with him, was he had a really good first start, or like first segment of the race as well as mid segment of the race. He was fighting for the lead for most of that time, and then he got caught up. And right at the end of the race, he was in the right position at the right time when there was a lot of aggression going on at the end of the race. He was in the right place at the right time, and he ended up coming out with the win. Yeah,
popular win for Ollie last week at Martinsville. A lot of the drivers happy to see him get the victory, and he's going to bring us onto pit road. Pit road speed doesn't start down here until you get to the yellow cone that he just passed there just a moment ago. So drivers can come down there as fast as they want to. But you also need to be careful not to hit that outside wall like he did going into pit road entrance. On board with Stephen Clapp as we have about 2.5 minutes remaining before we get the grid.
Yeah, like you said, getting into that outside wall in pit lane just absolutely can really mess up the balance of the car if you don't get it right. So you do got to be careful going to pit lane. Steven's able to hold it really well through the S's here. Let's see if he's going to practice the pit entrance as well. I believe he is not. He's going to just need to keep going.
Something new here for Sonoma that iRacing did in their most recent update a couple of months ago, Chris. If you remember correctly, that turn 11 wall down there used to just be a tire barrier down there, and now it's a solid wall. So we've seen our fair share of incidents in the hairpin here at Sonoma Raceway, and usually in the past there was a little bit of room to work. There was room to get out of the way if you do have an incident down there. Now the options are limited as they've got a solid concrete wall on the inside of them as they make that sharp right-hand turn.
Yeah, you know, I completely forgot that they updated this track a little bit ago, and honestly, keeping it to the real-world spec right there, like you said, makes the hairpin a little bit more difficult, especially if there's trouble in there. That you don't have that route to just shoot past the hairpin and keep the car safe.
Ben Kinney, one of the drivers who had issues in qualifying. I believe Ben was only able to put 1 lap down. Ben currently out on track, getting a couple of extra seconds here of warm-up practice for the Trinity Racing League in that familiar looking number 51 Ford Mustang. He's going to hop a couple of curbs through the S's, make his way down. We'll take a look, see if Ben elects to come down onto pit road. Got about 20 seconds left. Not sure that he's going to be able to make it, even if he tried to. But he's making his way through the back end of the S's right now. See the right-hander of turn number 10.
He might be able to get to that pit entry to try it, but it might cut off right before, but doesn't even seem to elect to do it.
That's going to about do it. Checkered flag out for the warm-up session out here. Nolan Hicks, the fastest of 5 drivers to put times down here, and that's going to bring us to our starting lineup out here this evening as we wait for the session to switch over. Barney's going to grab the green flag and get ready to send the pace car on their way out here tonight. Chris, let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's event. Tonight's event race number 10 of the Trinity Racing League, and it's going to be led to the green flag by Thomas Green and Vincent Sora in row number 1. Ryan Bird, Ryan Kelly going to make up row number 2 as these drivers begin to grid onto pit road. The top 5 is rounded out by Christopher Norris. 6th place belongs to Chris Stitz. Larry Yingling going to be rolling off in 7th place with Ollie Fonseca in 8th. Cody Reed and Cedric Hunter the top 10.
Scott Ricard in 11th, Nolan Hicks in 12th, Samuel Garcia in 13th, Noah Steele in 14th, Josh Duvall in 15th, Mike Miller in 16th, Clint Cox in 17th, Mark Labertone in 18th, as well as Aaron Kralik in 19th, and Thomas Walter rounding out the top 20.
Our field of 25 drivers out here tonight, rounded out by Dakota Moniz in 21st place. That's our grid sponsor. We'll take a look at that in just a moment, but our grid sponsor, Dakota Moniz, starting 21st with Jesse Thornock in 22nd on the outside of row number 11. Stephen Clapp rolls off from 23rd out here tonight with the Red Bull Ring winner, Brandon Gass, in 24th, and Ben Kinney, the final driver, out here in this 25-car field. And speaking of our Pole Sitters Grid Sponsor Award out here, going to Thomas Green out here tonight, that is Dakota Moniz. It is Blazing Fast TV. If you're looking for a chill, relaxed stream, head on over to Blazing Fast TV on Twitch and YouTube. Check out a live point of view of Dakota Moniz as he races. Follow, subscribe, stay up to date when he goes live, and post content every single time the Trinity Racing League goes racing here on a Monday night. But the pace car about ready to bring us away from the starter stand.
Looks like NASCAR brought a Porsche out here to Sonoma here. I almost called it Infineon. Looks like they brought the Porsche out here to Sonoma tonight.
Well, you know, we ran a Daytona road course race with some of the drivers here in the Trinity Racing League last Friday night, and they had a BMW car. I put in a petition to get the BMW out here tonight. It was a pretty cool looking machine, but not the case. They brought out the Porsche as the drivers begin to start the engines and put the cars into gear, and they're going to begin to make their way through this one pace lap. The only time we're going to see the pace car out here this evening is no cautions again here over the next 50 laps.
No caution is going to put a lot of pressure on the drivers to keep it clean and keep it rolling in the right direction so they don't get left behind by everybody else. They don't really have the chance to get grouped up.
Field of 25 makes their way up through turn 1 as we take a look at them coming up through turn 3. Coming up here behind the fence, that Porsche is flying. Again, front row going to be Thomas Green, Vincent Sora, Ryan Bird, Christopher Norris, Ryan Kelly going to be the top 5 as they roll behind the pace car. All right, Chris, so drivers in the middle of the field here. If you're a driver like Scott Rickard or if you're a driver like Sam Garcia, Nolan Hicks, starting 11, 12, 13, it's a difficult challenge here because coming up to turn 1, not only do you need to be looking up in your windshield to see what's happening in front of you, but you also got your eye on that mirror as well, make sure nobody's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't really move the car around in unpredictable ways either. Even if you see somebody trying to dive it on the inside, you can't really move the car in the way because they're not going to be able to slow the car down in time, and then you're both going to have a bad day. But turn 1 struggles is going to be a really interesting here at Sonoma. These drivers should be able to keep it clean though. They've been very good for the time that I've watched.
Yeah, and again, you know, if you get punted off course in turn number 1, it's just going to make a long night even longer, as you're not going to have an opportunity to get caught back up to the field here. But the field through turn 10, pace car going to make that hard left-hand turn down pit road, and he's going to send us on our way underneath the guidance of Thomas Green, Vincent Sora on row number 1. We're going to head down into the hairpin here for pace speed for the final time. We're going to see the green flag as we get set to go racing from Sonoma Raceway here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network.
As the field rounds the hairpin, here they go. You're going to hear the loud pedal very soon. I believe probably about... Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't even see the restart zone. Wow. Anticlimactic. But here we go. The drivers are hitting the lap pedal now. Here they go. Going off into the left-hand turn before turn 1. Let's see if they can keep it clean going in.
Thomas Green, he's going to jump to the right side of the screen as he comes down into turn number 1 as drivers file out 2 and 3 wide behind him. It's Thomas Green, Vincent Soar, Ryan Kelly as they run right now. First battle for third place. Ryan Bird putting some heat on another Ryan Kelly as Christopher Norris waits in the wings.
Looks like we got the battle of the Ryans here as Christopher Norris tries to send it on the inside of Ryan Bird here. Is he going to get there before turn 6? He does, and he's able to get on the brakes a little bit later. He's trying to squeeze him out to the outside, make him use up a little more of that track. And that seems like they're side by side now. He does get the position from him there.
Christopher Norris able to take the position away from Ryan Bird, put +1 position for Christopher Norris. Ryan Kelly -2 for Ryan Bird in the opening laps here of Sonoma Raceway. We're going to jump back here, find more battles happening on the opening lap here as we get down here into the hairpin. Scott Richter following Cedric Hunter down here, as well as Larry Yingling. We're going to get down into the hairpin 2 wide for the 5th place running position. Ali Fonseca takes a look to the inside. Opening lap issue for Mark Labertone. We're going to jump over to that in just a moment, see what happens to the driver, the 42, as lap number 1 is led by Thomas Green.
Thomas Green's got a pretty sizable gap on Vincent Sawyer right now. About a second. He's going to look to just increase that gap since he's got a lot of clean air, not much pressure from behind, while Vincent's got to worry about the whole crowd behind him.
Taking a look here, this is a replay of lap number 1. Mark Labertone, he's going to go around in a single car incident. On the entry to the S's down here, he's going to have Ben Kinney directly behind him. No contact there, but Mark Labertone, he takes a pretty hard hit to the front end of that Toyota Supra, but he's going to be able to carry on without issue. At the front of the field, it's still Thomas Green, Vincent Sora at the front.
Thomas Green coming under a little bit of fire from Vincent Sora. He closed that gap by about 7 tenths. Very close to him now. Might try to make the move into the hairpin. We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe a little bit far back to take a look into the hairpin, but it all depends on turn number 10. See if Vincent's able to get a good run down through turn 10. Not gonna be able to do anything this time by. Gonna have to wait at least a couple of more sets of corners as Ryan Bird gets around Ali Fonseca a couple of positions back. Take a look at this little battle that hasn't gone away from the opening of the green flag. Ryan Bird in that purple and white Chevy Camaro, followed by Ali Fonseca. Last week's winner at Martinsville Speedway, knows how to find his way up towards the front of the field. And then they got Chris Stitz right in line, and Cody Reed here has joined this battle as well for a 4-car battle for 5th.
You know, Ryan Bird's probably got a lot of pressure on him right now. He's had a lot of fire since the start of the race, so he's just really looking to defend and keep it clean here and honestly keep the tires from sliding.
On board with the 49 of Ryan Bird, going to make that right-hand turn down. It's turn number 6. Ollie takes a look down there, but he's going to think better of it as we get down into the S's. A little bit of smoke, a little bit of a tire lockup from, want to believe that may have been Christopher Norris, driver directly in front of these cars as they make their way through the S's, and we're going to see them come through here in a flash as the field of 25 starters mark Labertone on pit road with damage. 24 cars still on track.
Really great shot of the entire field going through the S's right here. Not really many battles at the tail end of the field. It's really going to be in the mid-pack where a lot of the action is going on.
Had an issue on lap number 2 for Ben Kinney. We're going to follow this battle here. Ryan Bird gets a little bit of a love tap from Ali Fonseca through the kink on the front stretch. Ali Fonseca's going to be able to make the pass on the 49 of Ryan Bird. Ryan Bird's going to come back to the 24 as they make their way up to turn number 1. That right-hander and that 24 is looking for a little bit of daylight here. That was a close call between the 49 and the 24.
If I was the 49, I'd be just a little bit upset over that, but I just have to keep in mind that there's a whole race to go. You got to just keep the car great, keep it flying, just let it go, be forgetful. Got to have a really bad memory sometimes when you're racing the race car.
Jump on over to Ben Kinney and see what happens over here to Ben Kinney. Got a notification he's going to go off track in turn number 10 here for Ben, and he's going to collect the left side of that 51 machine. And then there was also a second one here, so we'll see if it's the same one being read a second time. But this is now down into turn number 11 for Ben. Is he going to go around for another slide? So bad becomes worse for Ben Kinney. That was a little rough set of corners for the driver, the number 51.
Yeah, that tire barrier probably did a number to that right side. He wasn't able to get the power down out of the hairpin. Ended up spinning. But back to the front, Thomas Green's got a really sizable gap now on Vincent Sora, about a second and a half. He's just really looking to increase that distance.
Yeah, we were talking with Chris Stitz earlier this evening before the race started, and we said, you know, what's the fuel strategy looking like out here? And you run road courses maybe a little bit different. It allows you to come down onto pit road, come down, get some clean track in front of you, not have to battle in some of these battles that these drivers are in. And he told us it was about 35 laps, give or take. So anytime on or after lap number 15 would bring them to within the fuel window to bring them to the checkered flag out here this evening. So we'll see if any of these drivers, maybe Chris Stitz, Cody Reed, Larry Yingling, Cedric Hunter, or others, elect to come down onto pit road maybe a little bit earlier than expected and give themselves some clean track and just run fast laps.
You know, honestly, that's probably going to be going through a lot of drivers' mind here, just being able to have, like you said, that clean track, no battles, because battles is really what slows you down on road courses the most. When you're sitting there too wide going into, say, turn one of this track, you're going to come out of the corner a lot slower than some guy who's going in there just alone to be able to run his line. So it really does kind of incentivize going in a little bit early, maybe have a little bit of clean track.
Through the opening 5 laps of tonight's race, Thomas Green has led all 5. Vincent Soros is running where he started. First and second, Thomas Green, Vincent Sora. Ryan Kelly, Christopher Norris, both up 1 position respectively. Ali Fonseca, one of the bigger movers of tonight's event. And, oh yeah, let's not count this guy out before the end of tonight's race. But Brandon Gass, one of the 2 drivers that chose not to take a qualifying time out here. We know Brandon's good on road courses. He won it at the Red Bull Ring. He's up to 16th.
Already up to 16th. Look like he's really driving that car hard, trying to get through the pack. That's it's really impressive, honestly, starting in last and going all the way up to 16th, and by lap 6, you know, this is not really an easy track to pass at. There's only very few passing zones, so it's pretty impressive that he's been able to climb that much.
Another issue for Ben Kinney. We'll jump on over, take a look what has happened with the 51 here. This is now going to be a 3rd incident, separate from the 2 that we looked at before. Ben Kinney, he's going to lock it up, and he's going to make hard contact with the outside of, or is that the inside there, of turn number 11 there with the left side of his car, and that's going to give him a damage required flag, as he's got some significant suspension damage on that Ford Mustang. Here you can kind of see the car hopping along here, and he has a long lap before he gets back down onto pit road.
Yeah, really unfortunate day for the 51 there. He's really just like I said, just unfortunate.
Ryan Kelly, Christopher Norris, these drivers have not given up the battle just yet. This is a battle for the 3rd place running position. Ryan Kelly looking to defend Christopher Norris on the move here early in the going of tonight's Vineyard 100 at the Trinity Racing League. One of the closer battles happening out on track. Other battles happening out on track. Got Cedric Hunter back here fighting with Larry Yingling in that red and yellow number 67 Ford Mustang. Got Scott Richter within chase here as well. Cedric Hunter misses turn 11 just by a little bit. He's going to have a little bit of a wiggle on the exit of 11. That's going to allow Scott Richter to pull up a little bit closer to the rear bumper of that Supra. And it's going to allow a little bit of daylight and a little bit of breathing room for Larry, for Yingling to try to pull away just the tiniest a bit down here as they make their way into turn number 1. Again, up through the elevation. They're trying to chase down Cody Reed and Chris Stitz. Drivers happening about 2 seconds up the road from them, as we got ourselves a little 4-car battle here for what will be the, I guess this will be the 9th place position that they're all chasing.
Yeah, you can see Cedric is really kind of trying to hunt down Larry right now. He was able to close that gap a lot in turn 1, and you got to wonder if he's just being patient, waiting for another really like a hard braking zone to be able to make the pass here. It's probably what's running through his mind about now.
On board through the S's with Cedric Hunter. He's going to get a pretty good run through the S's and close up on the back of the 67 by the time they get to turn number 10. Think he's probably a little bit faster than the 67 right now, Chris, but you had mentioned it a little bit ago. So difficult to make the passes here, and there's so few passing zones on top of that. So if you miss your opportunity, you almost have to wait an entire lap before you try it again. Turn 1 going to be one of the options for Cedric Hunter. Don't think he's going to be close enough, but he's going to have to wait until he sees turn 4 to give it another go if he misses it here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he gets there here in turn 1, but he does close up the gap. Like I said, it seems to be that he runs through turn 1 a lot faster than Larry, but Larry does get a really good drive off the corner here. And as you see how much angle that the cars get through the corners, they're so loosey-goosey here on this track.
Down into 4, Cedric Hunter's going to take a big, wide exit there, try to close in once again, not going to be close enough. These drivers starting to slowly close in on the back of that 25 that's happening directly in front of them. Chris Stitz has been able to put a little bit of distance in between himself and Cody Reed directly behind the 17. And we'll see if these two drivers maybe work together to try to chase down the 25 of Cody Reed as he's now coming in. It's a camera shot, but at the front of the field, nothing has changed. Thomas Green still in control of this race and has been since the drop of the green flag. Back to the battle for 9th place. Cedric Hunter finally going to take a look down to the inside of Larry Yingling and make the pass successfully in the hairpin.
Yeah, you can see Larry got a really big wiggle coming off the corner. Definitely hurt his exit speed, but Cedric was able to finally make the pass there into the hairpin. He was looking for that for probably about a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps. So, he's probably feeling relieved now.
Name we haven't said on the broadcast out here too much, Josh Stovall trying to chase down the Red Bull Ring winner of Brandon Gass directly in front of him. Got Sam Garcia in front of them. Sam's going to have an off-track excursion there in the Apex 50 Toyota Supra. Sam's going to lose 2 spots there with a possible time penalty as well. Sam goes off track, but he's going to be able to keep it moving in the right direction nonetheless. Let's take another look at that. Through, is this, we going down here into turn number 3. Overshoots the corner a little bit, and that opens up the door in the window for Brandon Gass and Josh Stovall in the 1.
Initially I thought he had a little bit of help from that first camera angle, but yeah, it just seemed like he just lost the car from over there and just wasn't able to keep it, unfortunately. But like, it's better than getting into the wall. Having a little bit of dirt on the tires and getting a little bit of a time penalty is a lot better than getting into the wall and having your own night room.
Oh, absolutely. And off track a little bit. It's not the end of the night, right? You don't want to do it, but off track just a little bit keeps it going in the right direction. As we have a pretty big battle happening here between Ollie and Ryan Bird in the 49 as they make their way through turn 1. But going back to Sam there, didn't spin it around, kept it cool, didn't panic once he got in the dirt, and kept it going in the right direction. He lost 2 positions, but it could have been a whole lot worse. That's for certain, Chris.
Absolutely. It was good car control by him once he touched the sand there. As we look at Ryan Bird trying to hunt down Ollie Fonseca here, and he's slowly getting there. He wants to get his position back. He knows that Ollie got that position from him earlier in the race with that little nudge. Maybe he's looking for a little bit of payback. Maybe not. He's just looking to get that position, honestly.
Ryan Bird backs up turn 10 just a little bit, tries to get a good run on the exit of 10 to set himself up for 11. Don't believe he's going to be close enough to make anything happen. He's going to get right to the bumper of the 24. But Ollie Fonseca still with the preferred position on the back half of the top 5 in 5th place as they run right now. Thomas Green has opened up a 2.5-second lead over to Vincent Sora here. 3rd place now belongs to Christopher Norris, Ryan Kelly, Ollie Fonseca. That's the top 5. You see Ryan Bird chasing the top 5 in that 49. Chris Stitz, Cedric Hunter. Let's see if Cedric is able to close in now on on Chris Stitz. He was able to get around Cody Reed after he got around Larry a couple of laps ago. So Cedric, I think Cedric may be one of the faster cars on track right now. Now that he has a little bit of clean track in front of him, I think he was being held up a little bit by the 67.
I'm wondering if there's issues for for Thomas Green right now. He's lost a lot of time on Vincent Sora. He was at about 2.5 seconds at the beginning of this lap, and now the gap's close to about a second and a third.
All looks well at the front of the field. Don't see any damage on Thomas Green, not receiving any notifications of an off track or any sort of contact for Thomas. So perhaps just a bad set of corners there, and that allows Vincent Sora to close up just over a second to the race lead. But these drivers not giving it up.
These drivers are not giving it up here. You know, Ryan is definitely looking to get that position back from Ollie here. He's not going to give him any room coming into turn one. Ollie kind of moves him out of the way, has to force the gap. Ryan gives him a little nudge. This is a really good battle going on right here.
Ollie Fonseca still able to hold that position in front of the 49 of Ryan Bird. And now they're starting to reel in slowly each lap. They're starting to slowly reel in Ryan Kelly directly in front of this group. That would bring them up to fourth. Ollie Fonseca, currently the leader of the two tournament drivers. He's going up against Noah Steele out here this evening. Again, names on the left side of the tower. Red up against red, blue and blue, yellow and yellow, green and green. Drivers, the higher finishing driver will advance to the next round of the Trinity Racing League in-season tournament, where the winner will receive 25 bucks of Josh Kanata's money, one of the main league administrators here. So something that these drivers need to keep in mind as well. But Ollie's got a mirror full of that 49 machine right now still.
And a bumper full with how he drove him through that corner. You know, Ryan is definitely trying to get that position from here now. Getting real aggressive with Ollie, getting impatient, not upset is the right word for it. He's gonna really try to get close to him here into this corner. Can't get there quite. Ollie has a little bit of a slide off the corner, but still ends up getting a better drive off.
We expect next time by going to bring us to our fuel window. Drivers again have about 35 laps of fuel to use out here tonight. I think lap number 15 is probably a little bit early to pit, but if you're a driver like Brandon Gass, if you're a driver like Noah Steele, Josh Stovall, Sam Garcia on the outside of the top 10 right now, maybe take advantage of it, maybe come down a little bit earlier than everybody's expecting you to. Get that track position that we were talking about here and try to run some fast laps. This battle for the lead has started to heat up over here. It went from about 2.5 seconds to 1.3, and now it's down to just over half a second here, Chris. Thomas Green leading Vincent Sora, but the battle is starting to close in quickly.
Yeah, and you always hear me talk about on the broadcast. I wonder if Vincent was maybe saving the tires a little bit, sacrificing some time, trying to keep him from heating up on the car to keep him from wearing, obviously. And maybe it's helping him get some time here. And speaking of the pit stops before, if I honestly think the smart idea is to go in around lap 15 here to get that track position. To be able to have that clean air to be able to get that track position cleanly.
On board with the 15, you could see Thomas Green runs a little wide on the entry to turn number 6, and Vincent Sora attacking the S's as he comes through here. Both these drivers are. Vincent's going to try to get a good run through the back end of the S's, but Thomas Green will likely be in an okay position by the time they get down here into turn number 11. Really kind of a different driving style from Vincent Sora, Thomas Green, than what you see in the back of the field here tonight. I mean, we're on board with Vincent Sora right now, and he was slinging that car through the S's left and right.
Yeah, it's a big difference between the amount of car control for these two drivers in front. Yeah, as I was saying before, you can see a lot of pitch and angle with these cars between the corners, and it seems like these drivers are really able to handle that well and keep the car under control.
Looks like Thomas Green's able to get back on the gas maybe a little bit faster than Vincent Sora. Is Thomas Green going to slowly close in on his first lap vehicle of the night? I do believe that's going to be, is that going to be Mark Labertone? Not too far off in the distance.
I believe that might be Stephen Clapp.
Yeah, it is going to be Stephen Clapp. Both Ben Kinney and Mark Labertone on pit road after damage early in tonight's event. So Stephen Clapp going to be the first driver that these drivers going to have to make their way around. And if you catch the lap cars in the wrong position here, that could spell trouble for these race leaders. We'll see how Thomas Green, Vincent Sora are able to try to work their way around the 9 of Clapp.
Absolutely. Thomas Green is really going to hope to get a clean pass on this lap car here, maybe not hold him up for Vincent, who's really hunting him down right here. So he's really going to be just looking for a clean pass on the lap car.
Well, they're coming into a pretty bad position to do it. They're going to probably be catching him on the entry down into turn number 1 here on board again with the 15. And they're going to be catching him through a very technical section of the course. Actually, Stephen Clapp going to take a wide exit there, allow the 3 and the 15 bolt to get through without issue. That could have been a whole lot worse if they were to catch him through this section of the track, because it gets very narrow very quick. Next driver on deck to possibly go a lap down, that's going to be the 14 of Jesse Thornock, about a second and a half up the road.
Great heads-up drive from Stephen Clapp to get out of the way there. Honestly, it really did not help him at all to be able to race to stay on the lead lap. So honestly, leaving it up to them to keep on racing was a great decision for them.
Vincent Sora now within 0.4 of a second for these drivers as they make their way through the back end of the S's into turn number 10. There you got Jesse Thornock in their sights. Jesse's going to get out of the way on the entry down into the hairpin. Thomas Green takes a look down in there. Both Vincent Sora and the race leader of Green able to get through without issue.
Hope you didn't break anything there, Tom, but Vincent is definitely looking down Thomas's shoulders right now. He's trying to see if he can gain some time anywhere he can on this track. Try to close up that gap that he did a little bit ago. Try to close it up a little bit more. Be able to make the position.
Let's take a quick jump over. To Cody Reed, who had an issue a couple of laps ago. I missed it on the notification. So let's take a look, see what happened to Cody Reed. Cody Reed back in 15th right now, but still on track. Follow the 25 along. We're going to come in a little bit late on that. He's going to be sideways on, is that turn 10 down there? No issues. Yeah, he's just going to get a little wide on the entry to turn number 10. And the rest of the field does a pretty good job making their way through, but Cody Reed, going to lose multiple positions, finds himself back in 15.
Absolutely. Running that corner a little bit wide is a little bit scary in these cars. Like I said, with how much angle they have and how much heat and pressure you're putting on that rear left tire, you got to run the corner in a very, very specific way to where the car does not want to go around.
See first and second, and then you got to wait a couple of seconds before you find third place. That's going to be Christopher Norris. Ryan Kelly, a couple of seconds back. He's got a couple of lap cars in between these two drivers. But Thomas Green up for battle, as is Ali Fonseca. Ryan Kelly goes side by side through the kink on the front stretch here. The 24 on the outside, Ryan Kelly on the inside. They may swap positions by the time they get up the hill into turn number 1. It's Fonseca, Kelly, and Bird. Difficult position for some of these drivers to be in back here, Chris. Couple of lap cars involved, Stephen Clapp involved, Jesse Thornock involved. So difficult spot for some of these drivers to try to work their way through cooperatively while also chasing each other down. At the front of the field, it's still Thomas Green, now by just 0.3 of a second over Vincent Sora. All these drivers back here, this is a battle for the 4th place, being led by Ali Fonseca, Ryan Bird, Ryan Kelly, Cedric Hunter, and others. Back up to the front of the field, Thomas Green once again into the hairpin. Vincent Sora still hanging on the back bumper of that Camaro. 19 laps down to bring us to lap number 20. Thomas Green has been the leader of all of them out here tonight, but I think Vincent Sora's got something up his sleeve.
Vincent's definitely plotting something here. He's been keeping a pretty consistent gap on Thomas too. He's really probably keeping that car under control, trying to keep the tires from heating up.
I mean, I guess the nice thing that they have going for these two right now is even though they're racing like this, they're still pulling away from Christopher Norris. If we take a look at the last lap times, 0.2 faster than Christopher Norris, about 0.7 faster than Ali Fonseca, Ryan Bird. You see the times there on the tower. That's the last lap time for these drivers. So really no harm here for Vincent Sora to kind of just ride here. But at some point, I mean, we're rapidly approaching the halfway point of tonight's race. At some point, you want to get around him because you don't want to be racing them in the final 10 laps. You'd rather have your own track.
That is very true, because once you're racing the car in front, it gives a lot of time for the pack behind to catch up. So with that slight of a difference between times between the top 5, I definitely think that battling here is going to hurt more than help.
That time by only driver in the 18s is going to be the race leader, Thomas Green, as some drivers starting to make their way down onto pit road. Ryan Kelly's going to bring his car down onto pit road for, we expect, his one and only stop of the evening. Stephen Clapp lapped down early in the going here tonight, also brings that number 9 machine onto pit road as well. We jump back up here. Now this lead has started to open up again here. Now it's about three-quarters of a second. As Thomas Green still over Vincent Sora, excuse me, and Christopher Norris, that's who I was trying to get to. Christopher Norris is about 8 seconds back, kind of running his own little spot right here in that 38.
Yeah, and Christopher's kind of in the spot where you kind of want to be if the 3 and 15 start to battle. The 38's it's a pretty sizable gap, but once they start battling in front, it definitely will close that gap up very fast.
Norris being pretty patient on the throttle, not being too aggressive with with shifting the gears here. Hear him very smooth on the throttle, very smooth on the brakes. And he's able to do that because he's got about a 6-second difference to Ali Fonseca directly behind them. Ali Fonseca has been pretty much around the 49 all night tonight, but now they've got a new car kind of within camera shot here. They've got Cedric Hunter slowly closing in on this group up here. Cedric has been with this group for a couple of laps here, but hasn't been able to do anything with them just yet.
Yeah, he wants to stick his nose in, probably get in a little bit of a battle in here. Once he gets closer, it's going to be very, very interesting between these 3 cars.
Biggest mover of the night so far is Brandon Gass, one of the 2 drivers, himself and Ben Kinney. Brandon Gass did not take a qualifying time out here this evening, has made his way to the back half of the top 10. 10th as they run right now, about 27 seconds off the race leader. And I mean, Chris, I think that's going to be a little bit too much to ask for the winner of the other road course of the season of Brandon. If we had stage cautions here, if we had a halfway caution, I would say, you know what, there's a real shot there for Brandon. But at this point in the race, I think it's going to be a little bit too much to ask for Brandon.
I absolutely agree, especially with that big time difference. As we see this battle heating up here with Ryan Bird and Ali Fonseca, we saw Ali go and guard the inside as well, and Ryan went to go send it on the outside, but and wasn't able to get the turn, the good run off the turn here. But he might look for it into 1, but he's a little bit far back. He's not going to want to send it in. Probably just going to want to keep it under control, gain a little bit of time on the exit.
Cody Reed with an incident a couple of laps ago on lap number 15. Cody Reed brings that 25 Toyota Supra down onto pit road for service, for scheduled service for Cody. Cody's going to start to lose some positions on the tower, but everybody inside the inside the top 17 right now. Make it 16 as these drivers begin to move each other around on the tower. have not stopped yet. So first driver who has stopped for service already is Ryan Kelly in the 13.
Cedric Hunter was able to make a move in, and I believe that was turn 6 past Ryan Bird there.
Second place, Vincent Sora on pit road. He's going to be followed on by Christopher Norris. So second and third place come down onto pit road. That's going to leave the race leader out for at least one more lap. Now let's take a look here, Chris. So the best times that these drivers not really seeing. There's some tire fall off here. It looks like it's going to be about 1.5 seconds. It looks like that's what it's about to be. They qualified in the 117s last time by for most of these drivers. 118, 119. So 1.5 seconds. That's going to be a lot of time, but this is a long course to find 1.5 seconds at.
Yeah, it's honestly a lot less than I thought the tire fall off would be. I honestly was thinking that the lap time was going to start to be around like a 121, but having that small of a difference between the fall off and a clean tire and a fresh tire is it's interesting to see.
Vincent Sora is able to make his way out of pit road. Now Vincent Sora becomes the first driver who has stopped for service. Thomas Green is making his way onto pit road for the one and only time we will see that 3 Chevy Camaro down onto pit road here. So Vincent Sora going through the S's right now at the bottom of the track map there in that number 15. And then you see the 3 on pit road. Ali Fonseca also comes on pit road. Cedric Hunter going to inherit the race lead and get a bonus point here for a lap led here as we approach the halfway mark next time by. Vincent Sora into the hairpin of turn number 11 here. Vincent Sora into the hairpin of turn number 11. Thomas Green left side's up, right side's up, and about to be sent away here, but I do believe it's going to be close on the exit of the pit road here. Vincent Sora going to be on the right side of Thomas Green up the hill into turn number 1. This could be the battle for the race win. Into turn number 1, Thomas Green just up on the outside, but they're going to be side by side into 2.
Coming out of the pit road there is honestly the best thing to have happened for the 3. It gives you the preferred line into the corner to get the runoff. He wasn't able or he didn't give the 15 of Vincent Soros any room on the inside, so he was able to defend that position very well and get the runoff and maintain the effective race lead.
This next lap here, though, could be danger for Thomas Green because Vincent's already got the heat in the tires. He's been on track for a lap. Thomas Green coming out on cold Goodyears. So we're going to keep it right here as Scott Richter pits from 3rd place. But Thomas Green tries to put a little bit of heat in those Goodyears. They make their way down into turn number 10. We'll see them come down into turn 11 here. They got Josh Stovall directly in front of them. The race lead currently being held by Cedric Hunter and Ryan Bird this time by. Cedric Hunter stays out for an additional lap out here, looking to gain the halfway bonus sponsor award out here. That is presented by Apex 50 every week here on the Trinity Racing League. If you're looking for a fun and relatable sim racing content, SG_racing has you covered. Check out Sam Garcia's Apex 50 on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. Sam Garcia helping us stay here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network every single week. Sam Garcia currently in a round of pit stops on pit road. He's currently sitting 18th. But halfway bonus award looks to go to Cedric Hunter as long as he doesn't pit this lap. He is going to pit this lap. Ryan Bird going to stay out, and Ryan Bird going to inherit the halfway bonus award for an additional bonus point here at Sonoma.
So do the drivers get a additional point for the leading the halfway point as well as leading a lap?
As far as I am aware, yes, it is lap led, and then the leading the halfway mark, that is also a bonus point as well, which I mean, we've seen it ourselves, Chris, in multiple varying leagues on iRacing. Sometimes you make the playoffs by a point, or you miss it by a playoff point, or by a point.
Yeah, I mean, I only bring that up because if Ryan Bird in the 49, if he stays, or sorry, the 48. Oh, no, it is 49. If he stays out another lap here, he's gonna just rack himself up 2 bonus points.
Ryan Bird, Brandon Gass, the top 2 drivers on timing right now. The only 2 drivers who have not yet to pit, running inside the top 5. On the outside of the top 5, drivers still looking for their first service. That's going to be Noah Steele and Mike Miller. So we expect to see Noah Steele and Mike Miller fall down the timing charts as we run through our round of pit stops here. But Ryan Bird, he gets the bonus point for leading the halfway marker here at Sonoma, and that's going to pass the race lead over to Brandon Gass, who's now going to get a bonus point. Thomas Green, Vincent Sora not too far behind the race leader here, but yet to stop for service for the 29 of Brandon. Up the hill through turns 2, 2A, and 2B. They're going to make their way down into 3 and 4. Green behind the 29 Chevy Camaro as they come down here. Thomas Green without issue going to take that spot into turn number 4. Vincent Sora looking to have an easy passing zone, but he's now in the S's here, so he may try to get him here. He may try to time it as he gets down into turn number 10.
He's probably going to have the tire to do it as well. You know, like the tire fall off, the slight difference in time is probably right here in the S's. So he's probably going to be able to gain this time. Might send it on the inside here to turn 11. But it looks like Brandon Gass is going to end up going to the pit lane anyway, giving him a essentially free pass opportunity.
Yeah, that's about as good as it could have gone there for the 15, but back up at the front of the field, everybody has stopped for service. No other cars expecting to come down onto pit road here as we complete this lap. Thomas Green back in the front of the field through the round of pit stops. We're going to step away for just a moment, and we're going to stay with you here. We're going to stay with you here as we step away for just a moment. Pay some bills on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, and we'll be right back with you. We welcome you back to Sonoma Raceway as we rejoin the battle happening here for the 4th place position. This is going to be between Ryan Kelly, Ali Fonseca, as they run right now, have 20 laps to go in the Vineyard 100. At the front of the field, Thomas Green has had the lead for the majority of tonight's race, except through a round of green flag pit stops. Vincent Sora has been the one chasing him, and Christopher Norris, where he's run for the most of tonight, currently in 3rd. As we get down into the closing laps of tonight's event here from the Trinity Racing League. Chris, we take a look at the upcoming schedule. Top 16 drivers gonna make the playoffs here after Talladega. We've got Charlotte Motor Speedway next week, Dover the week after that, and then we end our regular season at Talladega.
Yeah, drivers only got 3 more weeks to really try to keep their points up and get into the playoffs and try to chase things up. So it's gonna be really interesting, especially at tracks like Dover and tracks like Talladega. You're gonna see a lot of drivers start to be really aggressive and try to get some points up. But in these closing laps of Sonoma, Ali is definitely trying to close up that gap on Ryan Kelly. Might look to pass here in the hard right-hand turn and turn 5 here. So doesn't seem to be close enough, but still looking to get that pass here.
Well, Ollie's going to take a look down to the inside. Not going to be close enough to make anything happen with it just yet. But as these drivers finish out their regular season here, Chris, we go to kind of a fun playoff track, or fun playoff run. They're going to have 5 races to decide a championship. And the opening, I don't know if you've looked at their schedule, but the opening race at the Trinity Racing League for their playoffs going to be held at Motegi.
I haven't seen that, but that is a very, very interesting track. I've honestly been wanting to race there in any sort of NASCAR for so long, since the beginning I started racing on iRacing, because I know they ran there a very, very long time ago. So I don't know, there and Suzuka East would be just dreams to run in the NASCARs.
Well, these drivers in the Trinity Racing League going to have that opportunity on April 20th. They're going to be doing 150 laps around that track. But before we get over there, we've got the final 18 laps of tonight's event of the Vineyard 100 to settle. Thomas Green has opened up now, once again, about a 2-second lead over Vincent Sora. We kind of saw this in we'll call it stage 1, even though there's no stages here, right, Chris? We kind of saw this in stage 1 where Thomas Green opened up a pretty big gap. I think at the widest margin, it was about 2.5, maybe 2.6 seconds over Vincent Sora. We're starting to see the same thing in the opening laps of the second half of the race here, but Vincent Sora is now only 1.8 seconds back. I think Vincent maybe used those first 25 laps, realized how long it took him to get to the bumper of the 3, and maybe now on the second half of the race, maybe making some adjustments.
Yeah, honestly, he might be trying to just, like, I can't tell if he's trying to save and maybe push towards the end, or if Thomas is just having just a great night tonight. But it's honestly probably a little bit of both. But Thomas is definitely stretching that gap more now, just like he did at the beginning of the race.
Well, last time by, they were at least to the 100th of a second. They both ran a 1:18.61 for both of these drivers. So dead even lap times to the 100th of a second for the 2 race leaders, Thomas Green and Vincent Sora, as they run right now. 1.5 seconds. That's the time difference between first and second place, Thomas Green, Vincent Sora. But we're on board right now with Chris Stitz, who's putting the heat on the back bumper of the 67 of Yingling.
Yeah, you can see Chris caught a little bit of the curbing there and lost a lot of momentum into that turn. He's going to try to build that up back here in the S's.
Next time by, we're going to see 15 laps to go, 15 laps to go here from Sonoma Raceway. Is Thomas Green going to make his way once again, lead another lap here at Sonoma, but still being chased by Vincent Sora, still following the battle here. This is a battle for the 9th place position between Yingling and Stitz. Brandon Gass, again, we've said it a few times here tonight, the winner of the Red Bull Ring, the one and only road course that we have had so far this season in the Trinity Racing League. Brandon Gass on the outside of the top 10 right now. Did not take a qualifying time. Currently in 11th. That's going to bring us back to the top 12 of Cody Reed. Cody Reed had an issue on lap number 15, went off track, was able to keep it moving in the right direction. Lost a couple of spots in the process, though, but that's going to now show us 13th of Nolan Hicks, Chris.
Nolan Hicks is looking here on the back end of Reed here, trying to make a little bit of moves here, but he doesn't seem to be able to close that gap in these hard right-hand 90-degree turns. A lot of these drivers are struggling with the curbing, maybe cutting it a little too shallow into the corner and touching that curbing and losing a lot of momentum for the exit of the turn.
Nolan Hicks in the Taco Bell machine tries to make his way a little bit closer to the 25 of Reed. Through the back end of the S's, he's going to get just a little bit closer, going to try to set himself up for an opportunity down in turn number 11. Not going to be close enough. Cody Reed takes the defensive line on the inside, but now we're going to see maybe a little bit of a crossover here. Nolan Hicks takes that wide entry that you were talking about in qualifying. Is able to close up just a tiny bit here, that time by across the start-finish line. Still belongs to Cody Reed. Last time by Cody Reed. A little bit slower than Nolan Hicks, actually. Nolan Hicks was about a tenth faster between these two drivers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the 25 of Reed was sliding across the start finish, but it kind of seems consistent through the entire lap. I'm wondering if he's struggling keeping the tires under him.
The battle for the race lead, we're keeping a close eye on it because it's now about a second apart from these two drivers, Thomas Green and Vincent Sora. We'll take a look and see what's happening up here between the two fastest cars of the night so far. Thomas Green now 1 second in front of second place Sora. Up the hill into turn number 1. Both these drivers going to drop a gear down into gear number 3 as they make the right-hander through 1 and up the track into 2. Last time by, Vincent Sora, now remember, he's got a lot better tires, which I don't know how much weight I put into fresh tires at a road course. Obviously, 30 lap better tires are going to be way faster, right? I don't know how much time and weight I put into a lap better tires at a road course as I would at an oval here, Chris, but last time by, about 0.6 of a second better for Vincent.
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot more of that has to do with running the track a little better, because 1 lap difference on a road course doesn't really do, like, especially with the gap that Green had before. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. So I think it's just difference in running the track. So it might have just been a bad couple of laps for Thomas.
Well, now we're starting to see what we saw in the first half of the race. Vincent Sora has closed in within 3/10 of a second, or 3/4 of a tenth of a second of Thomas Green. Now up the hill, it's going to stabilize at about 0.8, and that time by, once again, 0.4 of a second knocked off for Vincent Sora.
Yeah, Vincent's really looking to set it up for late race. It seems like he's playing it patient, trying to just get the corners right, keep the car straight, keep it from sliding too much, get a lot of the power down, and he's honestly just trying to make up that time and play the late race game here.
See them both chasing each other through the S's. Thomas Green, the first one, through the left-hander. Vincent Sora in close pursuit. These two have been the class of the field all night long. You got to go back to Christopher Norris before you find third place. That's going to be 15 seconds plus back for third place. Cedric Hunter up a bunch of positions from his qualifying position of 10th out here tonight. Currently runs 4th on the board with Scott Richter in the top 5. But Vincent Sora once again still closing in on that back of that number 3 car. Let's take a look at the last time by for Vincent. Last time as they crossed the start-finish line, that time about 0.5 faster for Sora. So closing in here in the closing laps as we have a dozen laps to go.
Looks a lot closer here through the downhill S's of this and turn 3 of Sonoma. He's might not be that much closer, but he's definitely hunting him down. That's for sure. Gets a little bit of a later break into the 90 degree, and into the second 90 degree, I believe is the same. It seems like a lot of his time that he's gaining on Thomas Green is going to be in those 2 hard right-handed turns. Vincent's just able to get the car slowed down a lot quicker.
Yeah, you see him being a little bit more aggressive with the rumble strips than the 3 is right now. And if I'm Vincent Sora, you never want to be the car that's chasing somebody, you know, trying to close in time, because it allows you to make mistakes, right? But what it's allowing Vincent to do right now, it's allowing him to see where he's faster, where he may be a little bit better, and it's opening up the opportunities for him to make a pass, as he is now pretty much to the back bumper as we cross the start-finish line. Give us 11 laps to go here. I think Vincent's using these next laps here to really identify where he may want to make an attempt for the pass here once he does get there, because he's going to be there at this pace in another lap or 2.
You know, to the adverse of your point before, I honestly like being the chasing car sometimes. Like, yes, it does open up a lot more room for mistakes, but like you said, it also gives you a lot more planning time on certain parts of the track. You can plan to overtake, and it also gives you kind of a benchmark of how you have to drive. I guess it honestly just depends on different driving styles, you know.
Sora puts the right side Goodyear's up against the rumble strips down here through the S's into turn number 10. This is where Sora has been so much better last time by. He closed right up to the rear bumper of Thomas Green in the hairpin. He's going to be a little bit too far back to make anything happen this time. This time by, we're going to see 10 laps to go from the Vineyard 100 here on the Trinity Racing League here again on a Monday night. Thomas Green gets a good run out of the hairpin at the start finish line. Sora maybe trying to set him up here. He's as close as he's been all race, Chris.
He is as close as ever. He can read the ads on the rear of the 3's bumper. He's really trying to get this pass done at the end of the race here. 10 to go.
Oh, a couple of cars with mid-race penalties. That's something that was in place. We did not talk about it at all tonight here. Both Ali Fonseca, Ryan Bird having to serve a drive-through penalty for too many incidents out here, and that's something that the Trinity Racing League does. If you get 16 incidents, and typically what an incident on iRacing, if you just put the tires in the dirt, it counts as an incident, or if you have contact with another car, it counts as 2 or 4 or whatever. The whole algorithm for it. But 2 cars serving a penalty, that's going to be Ali Fonseca and Ryan Bird, both drivers, did a drive-through on pit road and lost multiple spots.
Yeah, and that's kind of just a race killer, to be honest. It really hurts the morale too, especially at the end of the race. Especially with the way iRacing calculates some of the incidents. I'm sure not every single one of them was, you know, egregious. So it's really just a morale killer, to be honest.
Vincent Sora hits the gas and the loud pedal, gets back up into the gearboxes as he tries to chase down Thomas Green through the left and the right-hander uphill technical section of turns 2 and 3 before they enter down into turn number 4 here. Big look here. These are the 2 corners that you identified that Vincent was better than Thomas in the previous laps here. And once again, Vincent's still able to stick right with him. Issues for Jesse Thornock. We'll take a quick look at that, and then we're going to come right back to the race lead. What happens with the 14? He's just going to put the right sides into the dirt, go for a single car spin, as the field's going to race around him without further issue.
Yeah, dipping the tires into the sand is the biggest threat in that first part of the track. If you just get it slightly wrong and get the tires either in the sand or onto the rumble strips, the car can just come completely around from it.
They're going to be catching Mike Miller here in another half a lap to a lap. Likely the last. Well, no, they may catch Aaron Kralik, possibly Noah Steele as well. Both those drivers about 6 and 9 seconds up the road before they have additional lap traffic, but they're going to be working on Mike Miller here in the next lap or two, and we've seen lap traffic get out of the way for the race leaders here tonight. I would imagine Mike Miller would likely do the same for these two race leaders, as we are now inside 10 laps to go here in the Trinity Racing League for race number 10 of their season at Sonoma. Thomas Green takes that right-hander down into turn number 6, but Vincent Sora all over the back of him through the S's. This is where the 15 has been better.
15's really looking for it here on the S's. He was all over the back end, like you said, into turn 5, and he's really trying to get it here in the closing end of the race. 8 to go. He seems to be pretty consistent at this point, has the car very dialed in, knows where he wants to go, so he's probably going to end up making his move very soon, trying to start battling the 3 and make some room.
This time by, give us 7 laps to go, and these drivers likely going to catch Mike Miller on the uphill section of the track here as they make their way through turns 1. Vincent Sora still chasing down Thomas Green, as he has been for the opening 43 laps of tonight's event. They got some additional lap traffic up the road, but first they got to get through the 99 of Mike Miller. Thomas Green going to be the first one to see him here. Directly in front of him, drivers making the call saying, hey, got the race leaders right behind you. Please give us a lane here to make way for these guys as they fight their way for what may be a win here tonight. Mike Miller is going to get out of the way. That's going to allow Green and Sora to chase down each other once again through the S's.
Great heads-up driving for a lot of these drivers, just letting the leaders battle it out, duke it out, not trying to get in their way or anything like that.
On the rear deck lid of Thomas Green, downhill through the S's, Vincent Sora now about 0.4 of a second back off of the race leader Thomas Green as they're going to make their way around. I want to say that maybe Aaron Kralik in the 0-1. They're going to make their way through without issue once again. Sora and Green at the start-finish line. I don't know. I mean, you can be faster when you're a second behind them because you got clean track, but now that you're with them, this is very much what we saw in the first half of tonight's race here, Chris. Sora was able to close right up on the back bumper of the 3, but he wasn't able to do anything with them before the first round of pit stops.
Yeah, he wasn't really able to capitalize, but now he has that experience from the first half of the race. Maybe he can make those adjustments like you were talking about, and maybe make the pass here. That's definitely what's going through his brain and what he's ultimately trying to do to win the race. As you can see, he's closer than ever in these corners. He's into the 90 degrees. He's way closer than he was these past few laps. He's definitely making the slight bits of progress that he needs to gain that time.
He is. I do think Thomas Green is probably a little bit better in the S's, as Vincent's going to run a little wide there through the downhill portion of the S's. This time by, going to give us 5 laps to go. I like Vincent in the first half of the track, but I think Thomas Green may have the advantage on the second half of the track. Sora shows the nose, not able to do anything with it in the hairpin, but they're going to maybe be side by side on the exit of turn number 11 at the kink on the start-finish line. It's still going to be Green being closely chased by Sora.
Yeah, like you said, it seems like Green's better at the technical sections, and Sora's better at the braking zones. But that was the closest that Sora's seen to the lead here tonight, side by side with him going across the start-finish line.
And now, if you're Thomas Green, the seed has been planted. Turn 11. Last time by, he took a look, wasn't close enough. But now, if you're Thomas Green, you start to think, is he going to do it again? Is he going to give me the bumper as we come down into the closing laps of tonight's race? Right now, you start to wonder just a little bit more than what you have before. Where is Vincent going to make this move? And now, I mean, we're going to be down into the hairpin once again here in another 20 seconds or so, and he is just as close as he was last time by, if not closer.
Absolutely. And honestly, if I'm Thomas Green here, I'm going to just try to sit in the middle of the track. I'm not going to sit all the way to the left. I'm not going to sit all the way down to the inside. I'm going to sit kind of just off racing line to just make him show the nose just a little bit too much on the inside to make him have a really bad run off the corner.
To the inside goes Sora, not able to put the power down on the exit. It's still going to be Thomas Green 2 laps in a row. We've seen a look down to the inside for the 15. On the 3, we're going to make our way back up to turn 1. Give us 4 laps to go here from Sonoma Raceway. Up the hill they come. Only 3.5 more times to go around this circuit. Vincent Sora putting so much air on that 15, he's going to send that car up for a ride on the rumble strips. Take a rear look here from the 3 Chevy Camaro. We race down into turn number 6. This has been one of the better spots here for Green. And the last couple of times, he's been able to extend his lead just a tiny bit through the S's, and I think that's what's saving him through turn 11 here. I don't think he has any room to make a mistake in the S's here for Thomas.
Absolutely, yeah. The little bit of time that he's gaining in the S's is absolutely what's protecting him the most into turn 11. It's really what's giving him the slight gap, but here we go. Vincent set up the corner very well just before turn 11. Turn 10 was really good for Vincent. He shows on the inside of Thomas Green. He's going to get there this time. Has the momentum off the corner. Let's see if Thomas can keep it.
Side by side at the start finish line. 3 laps to go at Sonoma Raceway. Do say that Vincent Sora leads his first lap of tonight's event. Sora on the right side, Green on the left side as they work their way up the hill. Advantage to the 15, but next corner it's going to be advantage to the 3. Thomas Green able to power down before the 15 is and continue to carry this race lead up through turn 2 and 3.
Yeah, and that's Thomas Green's definite specialty here doing the technical zones. He was able to keep the car under him and get a great run through the sweeping corners of the uphill section.
Vincent Sora is going to have another shot at it down here into turn number 6 as they enter into the S's. We'll see where Vincent is able to stick with them. Make their way through the left portion of the S's, now back to the right. This is a pretty good S's section here for Vincent. Thomas Green has been better over the last couple of laps through the S's, but the last 2 or 3 laps we've seen Vincent Sora take a look to the inside in this next corner. That's going to be the hairpin here. He may be a little bit far back on this lap here, but we're going to have 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks over the speedway at Sonoma. Thomas Green sideways on the exit of turn number 11. That allows Sora to get alongside on the front stretch.
Yeah, he does get to the quarter panel of the 3, but the 3 just has a little bit more momentum just from being on the bottom of the track there. Was able to clear him. He's probably going to be very defensive here into 1. 2 to go here. It's going to heat up. The battle's really going to heat up here, especially in the S's of the track here.
Through turns 3 and 4, 1.5 times to go. Vincent Sora takes a big look down onto the inside. He tries to cut the corner just a little bit. Drivers got to be careful not to get too many off-track incidents here, because that we've already seen a couple of drivers have to come down for pit road penalties. Sora to the inside of Thomas Green on the entry to turn 7. Not able to put the power down, but Thomas Green is, and he drives away by about 3 car lengths.
Thomas is doing a great job pinching Vincent down. As soon as he sees Vincent have the apex in the corner, Thomas is doing a great job pinching him down, making sure that he can't get a good run off. It's great defensive driving from the 3. It's not anything aggressive. It's not anything pushing and shoving. It's honestly just great driving. And here we see him driving in the middle to guard the inside here.
Green on the inside now, Sora on the outside, as we're going to see the white flag this time by from Sonoma Raceway. Thomas Green has high control of the race for the majority of tonight's race, except through the round of green flag pit stops. Has been the race leader. Vincent Sora has been on the back bumper of the 3 all night long. He's got one more time around this 2.5 mile circuit to try to get it done, and he may just have an opportunity here. He's setting himself up for a good turn 4.
Vincent's got to be patient but perfect here. And that's the most difficult balance to have, especially on the final lap when all your nerves are running. He's got to be patient but perfect. He's got to set up his pass. He's got to be able to keep the car under control, keep it fast. And it's just a lot of thinking, a lot to go through your brain here.
All right, this is where Thomas has been better through the S's here, and he gets a good run out of turn number 7. But Vincent Sora just needs to be close enough to maybe give him the bumper if we do see contact at the hairpin in the tightest corner on the circuit. This time they're going to be making their way into turn 10. Thomas Green has about a 1.5 car length advantage here. Is he close enough? We're going to find out here. One more set of corners here to go.
Yeah, I don't think Vincent has the room here, unfortunately. You saw him go for a big slide at the end of the S's. That, I think, is what hurt his momentum the most, but it was a great attempt. We see Thomas Green coming across the start-finish line to take that checkered flag.
Thomas Green picks up a win here in the Trinity Racing League, and it's going to be his first win of the season for Thomas Green here at Sonoma Raceway. A hard-fought battle between him and second place Vincent Sora, but Thomas Green gets the checkered flag out here this evening. Other drivers coming across the start-finish line. Christopher Norris going to come home with the 3rd place finish. He's going to cross the start-finish line. Cedric Hunter going to come home with the top 5, and then our top 5 is rounded out by Scott Richter here. Chris, that was for road course standards, that was a pretty fun closing laps there between the 3 and the 15.
Yeah, absolutely. Those two put on a great show for the end of the race. That was honestly, in my opinion, the best portion of the race to see those two battle out. So that was a really good showing from them too.
A lot of respect between the 3 and the 15. Didn't see any dive bombs, didn't see anybody pushing anybody out of the way. But Thomas Green's going to make his way around the track here and begin celebrating his first win of the Trinity Racing League for this season. We're going to take a step away. We're going to keep you right here with Thomas Green as he begins to do his victory donuts, and we'll be back with your podium finishers. All right, and we are joined here tonight, 3rd place finisher out here tonight, Christopher Norris, Tom, and Chris in the booth. Good evening to you, Chris.
Interesting one, to say the least. It drove a lot differently than I did in December. And, I mean, hey, I could come up with P3, honestly, in the end of that second run there. I just put it in cruise control. I said, hey, Meta, because I got the Meta glasses, and I was like, let's play some music. So I got Last Friday Night On by Katy Perry. I had Colt 45 by Afro Man, and It's Everyday Bro by Jake Paul. I had one last song on. What was the last song? Oh yeah, No Hands. I forget who sings that one. Oh, Waka Flocka. So I had some good tunes on at the end, but it was a good race.
And you didn't want to let us know? We could have brought you down. You could have done like a little broadcast karaoke, Chris.
Literally.
I could have, especially to It's Everyday, bro, because that was my jam. Because I'm only 19 years old, so that was my thing back in like 2016. Same with No Hands. Like I can go down with some No Hands. Like, hey, I'm just saying.
All right, we'll have to talk about that otherwise, because yeah. But hey, we noticed at one point throughout the race, Chris, you kind of just, and you kind of alluded to it yourself, you were kind of just on your own in your own little area there, nobody in front, nobody in behind, and that's the kind of races that you appreciate them when you do get them. But it's easy to make mistakes because you start to zone out. But you were able to keep it focused out here tonight, and you come home third here in the Trinity Racing League. Here this season, Chris, kind of surprising. You're still looking to get, if I can remember correctly, you're still looking to get your first win of the season. We got some good tracks coming up here for you in the next couple of weeks. We got Charlotte, Dover, Talladega, all coming up here.
Yeah, throw Dover out the window because I hate that track. I think it was in All-American Racing Series or Racing League, I apologize, that I had the best finish at Dover I've ever finished. So let's just take that win possibility and throw that out the window. But I think Charlotte is a pretty good opportunity. I've always been fast there. I kind of felt like I was faster than Kanata in the moment anyhow. Whenever he won there, I just kind of played rear gunner because I couldn't really pass him. So if I can get that kind of situation where except I'm in front and I have a rear gunner behind me, we'll be solid. If not, we'll place our bets down at Talladega, see what we can do. Aside from that, I don't know if I'll end up getting a win this season. I mean, it's a tough group of guys, a lot of talent out on track, and just different driving style. I've been driving with these guys for 5 years now, so I've been told that if you race with the same people, it either makes you better, and also if you race with the same people, it can be also in a way harder because of the fact that it's just the same guys and you're almost scared of wrecking them, if you have to race aggressively. So, I'll try to get the win. Probably next week is probably my best chance. Maybe Watkins Glen if I can do better than I did tonight. But, I mean, hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Watkins Glen, the third and final road course of the season, where we know that you're very good here at the road courses. Chris, you're coming home with a podium finish out here tonight. Going to open up the floor as we always do. Anybody want to say hello to back home? And that's cnorrisphoto.com Ford Mustang. The floor is all yours.
Thank you. You guys, of course, put on broadcasting us tonight. I'm sad that we're missing Ari tonight, but hopefully she's doing all good. The admins, Nick Crawford and Joshua Kanata. Hope Kanata's feeling better. My teammate tonight, Cedric Hunter. Sad to see the others can't come out, but it was good racing with him. And then also the leaders, they put on a great show. I was glad that was on the broadcast. They did a great job. cnorrisphoto.com. If you need a photographer, then hey, always welcome. Hit me up. I'll come to any event, any state. I got 50 of them. I'll fly them. You pay for it. Also my parents, I don't think they were watching tonight. I finally sent them the link, so haven't watched, but it's okay. Maybe next week, but hey, we'll see what happens. Thank you.
All right, Chris, congratulations here on a Monday night. Going to kick you out of here, let you go celebrate a second place finish. That's going to bring us to Vincent Sora, who I believe Chris Rose has caught up with.
Yep, Vincent here. How you doing, man? How was that crazy end of the race and ended up in second place there?
It was awesome. That was one of the most fun battles I've ever had at Sonoma. Shout out to Tom. He drove an amazing race. Yeah, that was pretty good from start to finish. He was better than me in places that I needed to capitalize on. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could have done anything more to get around him there. He was just so good. Yeah, I drove my heart out, and I'm pretty happy with second place tonight.
Yeah, that was one thing that I pointed out on the broadcast. It seemed like you could get the braking sections down better than him, but he seemed to be a little bit better in the technical sections. But I was going to also ask you, what really goes through your mind when chasing down another driver?
Just hitting all my marks and not making any mistakes, especially here on a big road course like this. It's so important to just hit the same line each time and try to save your tires and not go off or make any costly mistakes.
Absolutely. I mean, those are some great examples of some great driving techniques there. So you came home with second place. Is there anyone else you want to say thank you to or leave the floor open to anyone?
Yeah, definitely just Tom, one of my great friends here on iRacing, and he drove his heart out tonight. He definitely deserved this one. And then just everybody over here who makes this possible.
Absolutely, Vincent. Well, thank you for coming up here and checking it out with us and catching up with us at the end of the race. We'll have you go celebrate your second place podium finish.
All right, and that's going to move us over to our race winner out here tonight. That's going to be Thomas Green. Ran a dominating race here this evening in that 3, picking up, I want to say, your first win of the season. Thomas Green, congratulations on your win here tonight at Sonoma.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a super awesome race. Definitely felt really comfortable in practice and was able to find good lap times, and was able to translate that into getting a pole and ultimately getting a win. And I got to say, huge shout out to Vinny. I mean, that battle was absolutely amazing. He's such a stand-up dude. I always love battling him. He's super fast, and I told him I was looking at my relative all throughout the run, and I'm just like, man, I cannot shake this guy. He's just right there, no matter what the scenario was, no matter what the braking zone was, he was right there, and he's such a good sport, and he's such a good dude. So, much respect for Vinny, and that was just a awesome, respectful battle, and that's what I raced for right there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it really was, and I think we got a couple of things to talk about, and let's kind of lead into the battle that you and the 15 had for the majority of tonight's race. It seemed like in both the first half of the race and the second half of the race, so if you use the pit stop as a divider, you were able to kind of open up, I think at one point it was like 2.5 seconds, and then on both ends of the first half and the second half, he was able to close in. How much adjustment, if any, did you make on the second half after seeing him close in the first half there to your back bumper in the closing laps of the first stage?
Yeah, it was very interesting with how the track kind of swung, because it started around 74 degrees and then it just kind of swung up to, I think we were up to like 90 at one point, 92 at one point, and I didn't really kind of take an account for that when it came to the pit stop and then adjusting for the second run. First run, I was definitely a lot better on the cooler track. I was able to kind of maintain my rears a lot better. That's kind of what I struggle with on road courses, is keeping the rears under me. And I knew that Vinny doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses, especially on road courses. So it's just to kind of know who you're battling. I mean, it helps that we've all been racing together for half a decade or more now. So you kind of know who's there and who you're battling, and I knew he was going to stick with me the whole time, so the only adjustment I could really make is mindset and just try to hit my marks and stay focused and try not to slip my rears too much, try not to scrub my fronts too much, although I ended up doing. While we were battling there, I definitely heated up my fronts too much, and that's what I was struggling with towards the end there. But yeah, I mean, just the mindset of it is all you could really do when you're battling someone as talented as Vinny is. You just gotta try to hit your marks and try to keep the car clean.
Yeah, and then Chris and I were going back and forth on the broadcast about this, and we had a little fun debate. You were obviously the rabbit of the carrots. You were the carrot of the rabbits tonight. Do you prefer to be the driver being chased or the driver doing the chasing here? Because if I'm leading, I make too many mistakes. I look up in the mirror and I'm down there in turn 1 in like the first row of the grandstands. How do you typically like to do that?
I don't know. For me, it's always kind of been the opposite. If I'm behind somebody, I'm either trying to follow their line or brake further than they are, or try to get on throttle sooner, or take different lines to try to get clean air. I feel like I always end up using my stuff up too much doing that, and instead I'd much rather just be on the pole and try to just lead as many laps as I can, because at least from there I know I kind of set the standard, I set the pace, and from there I kind of feel more in control and comfortable. So I think for me, it's definitely just being out front, hitting my marks. That's kind of where I feel the most comfortable at.
Yeah, and it definitely helps when you got somebody in your rearview mirror that you can trust and you're familiar with. So big congratulations out here tonight to you, picking up your first win at a road course at Sonoma Raceway for the Vineyard 100. Thomas, any hays and highs? We're going to open up the floor for you here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. The floor is all yours, sir.
I just want to say shout out to everyone in Trinity for making this possible. It's always fun to come out here Monday nights and race and have a good time. And big shout out to you guys for broadcasting. I've been enjoying the broadcast and all season long, and I've been dying to get up in the booth. And I couldn't get a top 3 or even like a top 5, but now I can finally get up here and get a win and come talk to you guys that way. So that's really cool. And big shout out to my girlfriend Anna for all the love and support. She watches all the races, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this without her. So thank you. I love you.
All right, congratulations once again. Race winner out here tonight, Thomas Green, picks up his first win of the season. Chris, from Wine Country, road courses, 2 done, and we have 1 more coming up. That's going to be at Watkins Glen in just a couple of weeks' time here. But let's take a rundown here from Sonoma Raceway. Take a look, see where your favorite driver finished out here this evening. We'll pull up race information here this evening. Thomas Green, Vincent Sora, Christopher Norris, those are the drivers that we just spoke to. Those are the podium finishers out here this evening. Cedric Hunter comes home with the 4th place finish. Scott Rickard rounds out the top 5. 6th place belongs to Ryan Kelly. 7th it belongs to Brandon Gass. Larry Yingling in 8th with Chris Stitz and Cody Reed in the top 10.
Then we got Nolan Hicks in the 11th in the 86 machine. Josh Duvall in that 1 car coming in 12th. Ali Fonseca coming in 13th. I almost said his name wrong again. Ryan Bird coming in 14th. Samuel Garcia coming in 15th. Noah Steele to 16th. Aaron Kralik in the 0-1 machine coming in 17th. Mike Miller in 18th. Clint Cox in 19th. And Thomas Walter rounding out the top 20.
Top 25 out here tonight. 25 drivers took to the track to do battle here this evening. 21st belongs to Dakota Moniz. 2 laps down. Only driver 2 laps down out here tonight. Stephen Clapp had issues in tonight's race. Finishes 22nd. Jesse Thornock finishes 23rd with Ben Kinney, and Mark Labertone rounds out our field of 25 drivers here at Sonoma Raceway. Well, Chris, next time we're here on the Trinity Racing League, it's going to be same time, same place next Monday night, and we're going to be at America's Home for Racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I know a lot of these drivers are looking forward to that. And from here, we've got just 3 races remaining before we get to the playoffs. If you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, make sure you hit the like button, get subscribed, get notified, follow the action all the way to championship night at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in a couple of months here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. For Chris Rose and myself, Tom Richter, thank you so much for joining us on a Monday night. We'll see you next Monday.
Have a good night, guys.